Hello my dear students of class 7. Today we are going to discuss the next topic of chapter soil, and our topic is properties of soil. So before starting our topic, let's have a look at the learning outcomes of today's class. After the completion of this topic, students will be able to classify soil on the basis of particle size and structure, identify the color of the soil on the basis of mineral content, compare and contrast sandy, clay and loamy soil. That means you will get to know about different types of the soil. Define plasticity, cohesion, infiltration rate and percolation rate. That means you will get to know about different kinds of phenomena which are occurring in the soil. Differentiate between infiltration rate and percolation rate. And last one, you can apply the knowledge of plasticity, cohesion and soil structure in your daily life. So starting with the first property of the soil, which is soil texture. Actually, the soil can be of three types: sand, silt and clay on the basis of their particle size. Sand is having the bigger particle size and clay is having the smallest. In between these is silt. That means there can be three types of soil: sand, silt or clay. So on the basis of the texture, soil can be of three types: sandy soil, clay soil and loamy soil. You can see in this figure, this is sandy soil, this is clay soil and this one is loamy. Now how these different types of soil can be differentiated. In the sandy soil, as we have seen, sand has bigger particles. Sandy soil is having the bigger particles. Clay soil have very fine and smooth particles, whereas loamy soil is a mixture of sand, silt and clay. Sandy soil have the large spaces which are filled with air. That means this soil is very much aerated, very much air is present in this soil. Whereas in clay soil, very little space is present between the particles, so it cannot hold air. But loamy soil can hold air very easily. Also, as sandy soil have bigger particles of sand, it cannot retain water. As it cannot retain water, that means water get drained very quickly and sand is somewhat dry. But clay soil can retain water very much more than the sandy soil. And loamy soil, it can hold water very easily. Sandy soil, as the water gets drained very quickly, it needs frequent irrigation. And in clay soil, there is the problem of waterlogging. Waterlogging means as it can retain water more than the sandy soil, there is a problem of the waterlogging. Whereas in the loamy soil, it is best for growing crops because it can hold very clearly, very well, both air and water. So next one is soil color. You must have seen the different kinds of the soil with different colors. The color of the soil differs due to the mineral content present in it. Red, yellow or brown color is related to different kind of iron oxides present in the soil, like these ones. Red, yellow or somewhat wine. These must be containing different types of the iron oxides. Whereas dark colored soil like this black one, it represents the humus content, organic matter content present in the soil. That means you can easily identify the different types of the soil on the basis of their color. So with this, we have achieved our first two learning outcomes. You can differentiate between sandy, clay and loamy soil, and you can identify different types of soil on the basis of the soil color. Next one is soil structure. In our childhood age, we all are really fond of making mud balls. This is the main characteristic of the soil. It is called as the sticking ability of the soil. Soil structure means tendency to stick together to make mud balls. It is really difficult to make the sand balls because sand particles are very much bigger in size and they do not stick together. That is why the sand balls are difficult to make. But clay soil has very large tendency to stick together, so it is very easy to make the mud balls of the clay soil. So you can apply this in your daily life very easily, right? So with this, we have achieved our other learning outcome, which was to apply the knowledge of soil structure in your daily life. Next is plasticity and cohesion. Plasticity means it is the property that enables moist soil to change its shape on application of force and retain its shape even when the force is withdrawn. When we apply force on the soil, it has changed its shape, and when we are not applying the force on the soil, it is still in the same shape. This is called as plasticity. And cohesion is the property of similar particles to stick together. If the particles of the soil have the ability to stick together, it is called as the cohesion. On the basis of these two properties, these two properties are helpful in making clay pots and terracotta toys. If soil or clay doesn't have the ability of plasticity and cohesion, it won't be able to make the clay pots or terracotta toys or clay toys. So here you can differentiate between the different kind of sand, silt, clay on the basis of their plasticity and cohesiveness. Now the last property is infiltration rate and percolation rate. Infiltration rate means how the water enters in the soil, right? Like this one. The rainwater is getting enter in the soil. And percolation rate is the rate at which water moves through the soil. After infiltration, the water moves into the soil. This is called as the percolation. Both these properties determines the suitability of growing crops in particular soil. If infiltration rate and percolation rate of particular soil is known, we can easily identify which kind of crops could be grown in that kind of the soil. As infiltration rate replenishes soil moisture deficiency, with the help of the infiltration, it is easy that soil moisture can be replenished. Whereas percolation rate replenishes underground aquifers. Underground aquifer means underground waters. It is replenishing the underground waters. So how different types of soils have infiltration and percolation rate. Clay soil take up wet water very slowly and hold it really well. That means its infiltration rate is very low and percolation rate is very high. Whereas sandy soil absorb water well but do not hold it well. They allow water to drain very quickly. As we all know, sandy soil does not absorb the water and water gets drained very quickly. That means its infiltration rate is very high but percolation rate is very low. Whereas soil with high humus content means which is having the high organic content. It does not allow the water to drain very quickly because of its high organic matter. That means its infiltration rate may be slow but percolation rate will be very high. So with this we have achieved our next two learning outcomes, that means define infiltration rate and percolation rate, and you can easily differentiate between these two on the basis of their properties. I hope after watching this video you have gained very much knowledge about the soil, how we can identify different kinds of the soil on the basis of their color, texture, properties, soil structure, cohesion, plasticity, infiltration rate and percolation. So thank you for watching this video. Stay safe and enjoy learning at home.